Although, so we've been talking about this in terms of wisdom of decisions and everything, but there's also this overall arc of fate, as shown by the fact that the whole time the fox wanted to be freed. So the fox was the prince at the sort of the end of the world where the princess lived in the castle with the king who had the window that was blocked by a hill that's as might as well be the size of the world. And the third brother needed to make all these mistakes and keep going forward in the journey until he was able to save her and then come back to the fox and eventually kill the fox so that the fox can be brought back to life as what he originally was, which was that princess's brother prince. So there's this overall idea of fate anyway, that maybe this whole thing was supposed to happen that way or something. But with the part at the end where after with the fox's help, sort of overcoming all these challenges, saving the princess and then saving the princess and himself again from the court and say, the bird and the horse. He still wants to, I don't want to say do right by his brothers, more like save them from themselves, which of course they repay him in the opposite way. But yeah, he still wants to, even though he knows, do not tarry with anybody who's about to be hanged. The fox tells him that. And then he comes back to the earlier point in his own journey at the town of the two inns, and his brothers are about to be hanged because of their presumed excesses that led them into villainy. They went
Mm.
from being lazy and unproven to villains, thieves. And but then he has to give up all his money. There's this theme of sacrifice. He has to give up all his money, and even he risks his life because of their nature to save his brothers. And then later they come to a river, which is a like liminal space or like a border kind of area that's in a way like their way, the stopover before they come back to the normal world, is how I think of it. But yeah, there's much danger in thresholds. And yeah, and they do end up kind of, I don't, they come up behind him and bonk him over the head or push him into the river, right? And he kind of goes down into the depths. And then again, yeah, he's saved by the fox. But yeah, it's this idea that he risks everything. He risks a lot in this story, right? And he loses a lot. Kind of like the fox, I guess. The fox has to lose his life as a fox, be killed before he gains
Mm.
it. So there's sort of maybe a Christian kind of theme here of the god or the hero that loses his life in order to gain it. There's the sort of paradoxes of Christianity. And the people who just try to gain the king or the brothers end up losing, right? The brothers end
Mm.
up, what happens to them? They're exiled or they fall into
Uh,
ignominy in some way. And the king
well, I
eventually dies and passes the kingdom on to the youngest son that he was afraid to lose.
yeah, it says the brothers were put to death.
Put to death, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talk about the theme of fate again. They all sort of have this fate that they try to avoid, but they end up kind of having, including the third brother, who kind of has a lot of pratfalls, but he's able to more than muddle through. He makes a lot of effort and he has faith, so to speak, and he travels fast as the wind on the fox's tail.